Serious times down in Johannesburg. Watch the fire now. Listen. The horns. Oh, yeah. The stage was set, the lights were low for the big G20 show. Leaders coming from across the sea to talk about the world economy. Johannesburg was dressed to impress, ready to clean up the global mess. But before the first gavel could sound, a different kind of noise started going around. Now everybody talking about Cyril's big blunder. He lighting the match while we standing under. You think you're smart with that devious smile, but you're burning down the bridge for mile after mile. Oh, Cyril's big blunder, what a heavy price when you're playing politics and rolling the dice. The party is cancelled, the guests wouldn't come. Now we dancing alone to the beat of the drum. The T.A.M.C. politicians step up to the mic, spewing out words that nobody like. They open their mouths and the fire jump out, insulting America, scream and shout. They're telling tall tales, they're telling the lies, right there under the African skies. And the media catch it, they run with the ball, they amplify the noise until the whole thing fall. Talking about Cyril's big blunder, he lighting the match while we standing under. You think you're smart with that devious smile, but you're burning down the bridge for mile after mile. Oh, Cyril's big blunder, what a heavy price when you're playing politics and rolling the dice. The party is cancelled, the guests wouldn't come. Now we dancing alone to the beat of the drum. Yeah. Watch the house of cards, they're tumbling on. Yeah, blow it down, what a mess. I look at the president sitting up high, I see that little twinkle in his eye. He cracking that smile, that devious grin, while the diplomatic ice is getting very thin. You think the eagle gonna take that heat? Nah, sir, they won't take a seat. No Uncle Sam at your Josie party. You chase them away, you're acting too hearty. It's Cyril's big blunder, he lighting the match while we standing under. You think you're smart with that devious smile, but you're burning down a bridge for mile after mile. Oh, Cyril's big blunder, what a heavy price when you're playing politics and rolling the dice. The party is cancelled, the guests wouldn't come. Now we dancing alone to the beat of the drum. Yeah, yeah, they're staying away, America not come to Johannesburg today. You set the house on fire, man, what kind of plan? Cyril, wipe that smile off your face. It's a disgrace. No, sir.
Ah, yes, there's a favorite from all time. Cyril's big blunder, folks. His big mistake on the G20. Welcome back to the program live from the Strip in Viva Las Vegas, folks. Here we are in Las Vegas once again. Welcome back. Hope you're all doing well. Appreciate you joining once again for the news broadcast today. I almost forgot I had to do one. I was busy doing production and answering refugee questions, people calling me out of the blue and directing them to my videos. I don't know why I bother making videos. I mean, people seem to think that I'm just a consultancy service that offers my services for free, which I do, but they feel the need or the desire to simply contact me out of the blue. Excuse me. Yeah, so once again, time spent this morning, so I'm about 20 minutes behind where I was. So that's what happens when people just call out of the blue. I would have been on at the top of the hour, but I was busy dealing with that, and I had to finish editing a video, and I lost 20 minutes, which left me 10, 15 minutes to finish editing a video and 5 minutes to spare time, but here we are late. Better late than never. Thanks for tuning in. It's a pleasure to have you join me once again on this Monday, the 30th of March, 2026. Yes, there will be more interviews. Gosh, does anybody pay attention? I'm in Las Vegas. I've said that I'm in Las Vegas, and I've been telling people for 3 weeks I'm coming to Las Vegas, and I said that there won't be interviews when I'm in Las Vegas unless any of the refugees here choose to do an interview. I will be speaking to a refugee later today. I believe it'll be an interview, but I can't promise that, okay? Right? For free. Left must pay lots cash. I have no idea what Henry's saying there. All right, yeah. Okay. So, there's a living White House. What are you guys talking about? All kinds of weird things going on over there. No idea what's going on in the chat. Anyway, let me break open something to drink here. I haven't had one of these in years. They're not very good, but clearly Canadian, overpriced water. But I got it at the commissary. Gosh bless, that's freaking tight. Oh my gosh. What the hell? That's pretty tight. Oh my goodness. Is it dented? No. God bless. That is tight. Let me try a towel here and see if that helps. Get a little better grip on this thing. My goodness. That is something else. No, that's not helping. That's even worse. What kind of retarded situation is this? They expect people, especially old people, to open these things. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I have to throw these away now. I can't even get into it. Product Canada. I guess the Canadians got even with us. They're making their freaking drinks we can't open. My goodness. I just wanted something to drink. I didn't want to exercise here. Hot water. Okay. Press conference. Oh, a press conference. Thank you for that. I didn't understand what was being said there. Well, I can't show you the press conference, so there's really not much value on that. God bless. Okay, I'll be right back, folks. Hang on a second. This is just crazy. That's just background crazy. And the other one's just as tight. I need a pair of pliers to get those things open. Good Lord. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed the Hoover Dam. Hopefully it's getting more views. I can check to see how it's doing. Let's take a look. Oh, sorry. I'm uploading something, so I can't take a look. All right, also battle open bottles brought gadget. Yeah, well, I've never battled to open a bottle in my life. Those things are sealed way too tightly. I think the Canadians try to get even with us. So I don't have time to do that, spend 10 minutes trying to open a bottle while we're all here chatting. So I just went ahead and got this Dunkin' Donuts cold drink instead. So that'll have to do. Excuse me. You're not late, pizza party. We're all just getting started here. All right. Turn it the other way. Yeah, Mark, that doesn't work. That's the tightening way. Nice try, buddy. Bottle from hell, indeed. Anyway, there's a live White House. Okay, got it. Okay. All right. So there you have it, folks. I did a video earlier. Which one did I do earlier? Gosh, I'm losing sight of all the different things we've done here now. So let me go to the channel and see which one. I can't recall. Did one last night. It's doing okay, but not particularly well. That was, did South Africa's Ramaphosa just make a big blunder? That one only has 26,000 views. So it's still going, but we've gotten 16 subscribers, so that's nice from that. It's up 70%, so hopefully that'll keep going. Hey, Erica, what's going on? When last I saw you in the chat, you deleted your message the other day. Bearing up under the midday sun. Hey, Keith, how's it going there in the UK? So, yeah. Anyway, gosh bless it. And I just published one a short while ago about petrol prices surging. I have another one about terrorism lawsuits at MTN, which I've done. Thank you for watching my videos, Loretta. I appreciate that. You always watch my videos. I appreciate that. Not everybody does, though. So, I don't know if you guys, gosh bless, are keeping up with current events, but the rhetoric between the Trump administration and the Iranian regime just continues to going up. Trump is now threatening to destroy Karg Island oil facilities, which would not be a smart move for the global economy. That really would have devastating impact on the global economy. Europe, Japan, South Korea, China, all rely heavily on Middle Eastern oil, and some of that comes from Iraq, especially for China. It doesn't really affect South Africa much, but it does affect South Africa from the standpoint that petrol prices will be elevated because there'll be fewer barrels of oil on the market. I just had a very busy week and some bad experiences. I'm sorry you had bad experiences, Eric. I hope that things get better. Could with some of that heat over here. Are you cold, Keith? Well, I don't know what the current temperature is outside, but it's supposed to get lower here. It was oppressively hot. Now, I will say this, it's Monday, and traffic is not nearly as heavy as it was on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So maybe Monday's the day to chill out in Las Vegas. I have an appointment at noon, which is in 90 minutes. I still need to shower before I head out. Then after that, I have another appointment with a refugee at 2 p.m. So that's going to be 2 p.m. and 9 is 11 p.m. South Africa time. So maybe 11:30, I might be doing an interview. We'll see. Vaisel Hermeshuysen gave a 14-rand super chat. Thank you for that. Appreciate that, Vaisel. Thank you very much. Yeah, so it's pretty quiet. There's not many people walking the strip. Not many cars out there right now. It's interesting. Yeah. But so I figured out, because one of the refugees told me what that hotel is. There's a hotel going up over here just behind Caesar's Palace, and it looks kind of weird. It's going to be shaped like a guitar, and I can see that now. So it's going to be much taller than it currently is. It's probably going to be taller than pretty much any other building around here in order to have a neck on that thing. That will be fascinating. But it's going up pretty lickety-split. Last night there were lights on it for the first time. They weren't on Friday, Saturday, but last night there were lights on there. So pretty fascinating. Vegas on the Strip is a place that's always in flux. There's always construction. There's always something being torn down. And the fascinating part about it is right on the Strip, you'll find vacant lots. Occasionally. Not in the main part here, but a little further up, you find vacant lots. And one day there's a hotel there, and one day there's not. It is fascinating. Of course, Old Vegas is in the Fremont Street area, located about 8 kilometers north of here. And in that area, that's where the original, like you watch Dan Tana in Vegas, that's where that was filmed, was up there. That's all the famous stuff. Reinhard Engelbrecht, thank you for that 350 Rand super sticker. Very kind of you. Thank you so much. Vils, welcome for your team membership. You've been there for a while. You got a castle, and you're a moderator. You can use your 1987 calendar for 2026. Really, Garrett? That makes sense. Bless it. I wasn't coughing a minute ago, and my throat wasn't a problem. Don't know what goes on. It's like my body's betraying me when I want to broadcast. So Trump and the Iranians are upping the rhetoric. The Iranians threatening to, burn the soldiers with fire. The media overplaying the situation. We have the New York Times reporting a big, clickbait headline, but telling the truth in the story, saying 50,000 troops are now in the Gulf. Well, yeah, folks, there are 50,000 troops there, but there's always about 40,000, so it's not like there's been a surge. Also, in 2003, 250,000 troops from 16 coalition countries were there, and in 1991, there were 650,000 or 800,000 of us from 60 countries that are there, 43 countries that were there. So, 10,000 additional troops in the United States is hardly something to write home about. Hardly something to write home about. So we're talking about, on a daily basis, before this Iran conflict kicked off, we have U.S. troops based in Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Iraq, Syria, Jordan, Qatar, UAE, and Kuwait. Now, some of those have been added since the Gulf War. That would be Iraq, Syria, Jordan. We didn't used to have troops there, but we have troops there all the time now. We've always had troops in Saudi Arabia, in Bahrain, in Qatar, in UAE, and Kuwait. Well, not Kuwait, sorry, the Gulf War. So, yeah, 4 countries are added, but we have, that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different countries in the Middle East where U.S. troops are based. And on a given day, that's about 40,000. So now there's 50,000. That's hardly a big bump up. It would seem to me more it's just posturing by the Trump administration and setting potential flexible options for CENTCOM should they be given the order to do something else. But I don't think it means that they're going to, it's not a prelude to an invasion. And we wouldn't telegraph it like that. Also saw a National Guard, retired National Guard general who was on PMSNBC or whatever they call that channel now. And this guy was claiming that, well, because the Iranians control the Straits of Hormuz, none of those troops they'll all have to go by air. Hey, genius, where were you in the Gulf War? Which one? Either one. All the troops go in by air. That's how it works. That's how we do it. Are you serious? Are you serious? I mean, honestly, I sometimes I wonder what's going on with these people. And he gets paid to go on there and spew nonsense. I don't know what his expertise is or how he became a general, but in the National Guard, a lot of people make general because of political connections. Maybe that's the case for him. Maybe he's competent, but he sure doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to geopolitics. This guy has no idea what he's talking about when it comes to Iran. That was interesting. The USS Gerald Ford, the carrier that made such a hullabaloo about how it was deploying the carrier strike group with the Ford, is not even in the Persian Gulf area, folks. That ship left, went the Suez Canal, went to Crete, and now is sitting in dock in Croatia. Yep, the USS Gerald Ford is in Croatia right now. So it's been there since Friday the 27th when I arrived here in Vegas. Yeah, I've heard this story about them recruiting 12-year-olds. I'm not really sure what that's all about. I haven't seen any confirmation of that. I've been kind of busy. I thought this morning would be a slow morning for me, but I've been up. I did an interview with Biz News earlier this morning, and I finished that, did another video, I cleaned up a little bit here, and was making notes and prepping for my visit. So yeah, been kind of busy, So the plan today is I'll go to meet with a refugee agency here in the Vegas area. When I've done that, I'll meet with a refugee whom I met with yesterday, potentially an interview. After that, folks, I will then be coming back to the Strip and probably hit some of the shops around here on the other side. And after that, I will go to the Vegas Golden Knights game this evening. Do I think President Trump can put boots on the ground? Neff, I don't. Look, you don't win a war with air power. If his hope is that the Iranians will surrender, then I think it's a crazy hope. They're not going to give up. They made it pretty obvious, and we can only get about 60 days to bomb them into this 13th century of the Stone Age, even further back in time. So he'll have to at some point do something or have an international force that goes in there while a government is constituted. I don't think that's going to happen. I think what's going to happen here is kind of the way it's going. It looks like a nothing burger. The Iranians are going to be pummeled, and at 60 days, the Democrats will block authorization to continue the conflict, and then we'll have to stop bombing, and the Iranians will recover, and I think that's where we're going to be because the Democrats. Yep. So I think that's the situation. I've already given a view outside the window, Martin. When this program opened, it was 3 minutes of Cyril's big blunder, and the camera was focused on the outside. So I've done that many times. Live and peaceful from Erie, Pennsylvania. 17th of March. Took me about a week to get over the jet lag. A week to get over the jet lag. First time flying? Yep. Can the other neighboring countries truly be trusted? No. When it comes to international relations, no country can be trusted no matter how close. Look how the United Kingdom under Sir Keir Starmer, the Islamo lover in the UK, has betrayed the people of the United Kingdom and betrayed the United States, the special relationship. Barack Obama harmed the special relationship. Trump fixed it. Biden really did nothing for the special relationship, and now Keir Starmer is destroying the special relationship. Our oldest and most reliable ally is the United Kingdom, and we can't count on them anymore. They're just a bunch of surrender monkeys. Welcome to Derek. Thank you for becoming a platoon leader. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining us. I can't think of the word now for the house. Reconstruction house. Your cottage will be upgraded as time goes on. Howdy, welcome to Vegas. Science still in the Strip. I don't know. I didn't see that, Ants. Will Russia really help who? Trump said he spoke to Putin. He's advised he would like to help with the war. No, we are not going to engage with the Russians there. I seriously doubt that. No, he can't stop it for 30 days and restart. It's the same conflict. I mean, I'm not sure that the law allows for that. Well, you're right. The UK doesn't have much to help. I mean, they have one carrier and they can't even get it to sea. Their navy is a joke. I mean, there are countries in Africa that have more powerful navies than the UK at this stage, and I'm not embellishing by much. Seriously, the UK Navy which once ruled the seven seas, is almost non-existent. What they did in the Falklands in 1982, they couldn't replicate today. They don't have the resources to do what they did in 1982. Just can't do it. Yep. What's happening at 4,000 per month? Any news on that? Well, I'm not talking about refugees, but I've already covered that again last night. I see you weren't here, Sinette. That question came up last night, and I answered it. That's when it's appropriate during Night Owls. I answered that question. There is no 4,500 per month. That's fake news. The Reuters story, which misled people, and I was clear about this, not Reuters though, was about a temporary village being set up with containers and on the annex in Pretoria that would have the capacity to process 4,500 refugees. I said in my video, if they do that, they'll have capacity, but will they have the desire, the willpower, the resources to bring the 4,500? If they did, I said by the end of the year, there'd be X number of tens of thousands of South Africans here. But we'll have to wait and see. They are not processing that many people at this time. And as far as I know, that situation is finished, the construction, so yeah. You missed this. That's okay, but I get asked the question all the time. Teeny, thank you for your 30 months of membership. Yep. All right, so just got bad news. Sorry, we'll watch later. Just got evicted from place I stay at. Oh, good Lord. That's terrible. I'm sorry to hear that, Loretta. Send us a message, Loretta, and we'll see if we can find somebody to help you, okay? Okay. All right. Sinette, you're very welcome. It's my pleasure. But normally I ask people to hold the refugee questions to the end, but I'm kind of starting with a informal intro here because just I don't know why I'm doing that, but that's what I'm doing today. So it is interesting seeing all the conflicting styles. I mean, nothing goes together here. I have like a 19th century look building next to a Gothic, Venice style building, and behind that's a massive, Monaco style of architecture. And over there, Caesar's Palace, evoking Rome, and here's the Bellagio next to this, evoking something on the Côte d'Azur in France. It's pretty wild. Nothing goes together here. It's just all kind of plopped in. Then there's a flamingo looking all crazy over there, and now they're building a hotel that looks like a guitar. It's Vegas is something else, man. It is something else. Something else. Anyway. All right, if anybody can help Loretta, let us know. Yeah, the history of Vegas is very interesting. You're right about that, Cutman's Curse. So, the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit from Okinawa is in the Gulf now. They're part of that additional number of troops to come over, as well as 2,000 members of the Ready Brigade of the 82nd Airborne are supposed to be over there. Oh, yeah, you don't want to come here if you've got epilepsy. You go absolutely, it'll drive you crazy. Sensory, and it's even worse than it's ever been. Now they have all these massive, there's two of these huge electronic billboards, which are narrow. When I say narrow, they're about 20 meters across, but they're about 40 meters high, and they just way up there. Horseshoe Casino is right over there. I can see that one. This other one is turned off next to Caesar's Palace, but it was on the other night. It was bright, 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 bright. They're pretty impressive, actually, when you look at it. The imagery is fantastic. Here's another one over here, advertising Alexa. Yeah, it's crazy. So I haven't gotten any shows, and tomorrow would be today would have been my last opportunity to catch a show, so I'm not going to catch any shows while I'm in Vegas, which is good. That means I'm not wasting money because I've got hockey tonight. So last night probably would have been the one night I could have done it, and I didn't do it. So I didn't know you could outgrow epilepsy. If you have any, I don't think she has any children, Charles. Yep. What's going on, Kathy? How you doing? Only seen Vegas on TV. Well, I've seen it in person several times, and yeah, you had epilepsy as a child. That's weird. Yeah, I've stayed at Luxor before, Ants. It's okay, but I'm staying at the Jockey Club now. I've got a whole apartment here, which is kind of nice. A bathroom, a walk-in closet, a kitchen, a living room, big screen TVs in the bedroom and living room, a shower, and bathtub. Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad. And free parking. On the Strip, free parking, that's almost impossible to find. $40 to $60 a day for parking. Yep. So that saved me a lot of money there. So for $60 a day for 4 days or 5 days, it would have been $300. I would have had to pay parking. That's $300 I saved. Anyway, what else? So that's about the Middle East and Iran. And then what else do I got here? Oh, this is Ramaphosa's comments about illegal war. Cyril Ramaphosa is trying to play the role of martyr. He's trying to, I assume, use this to win votes in the municipal election. The ANC is... So I got to compare this to Liberia. When I was in Liberia, the Minister of Defense, Brownie Samakai, was a very astute politician in Liberia. He understood domestic politics in Liberia, but he was completely clueless about international relations and thought he could pressure the United States by telling the media how he was denied access to a contract. But the reality is that the contract predated him and had nothing to do with him. It was a contract that issued by the State Department, which I later oversaw, and the contract was with private vendors. And there are contracting responsibilities. There's also proprietary information there, and the process is nothing the Liberian government's able to be seen. They work for the U.S. government, not for the Liberians. And he didn't like that because the agreement was made before he came in. But too bad. So he thought he could pressure the United States into letting him see the contract, but that's a crime. No one's going to let him see the contract, the statement of work. That's simply not allowed. And so very astute domestically, but dumb as a box of rocks when it came to international. He later was convicted and I think sent to prison for corruption after I left there. He was involved in something. I don't know if he ever served prison, but he was convicted. So dumb as a box of rocks can come in. And the ANC is the same way. The ANC, well, they're not even smart domestically, but they're dumb as a box of rocks when it comes to international relations. They think that they can try to intimidate and use braggadocio and threaten the United States with this pompous, bogus, puffed up chest. These are the flailings of a dying political party, a movement that has exhausted its usefulness, a party that falsely claims the mantle of liberation, which they never earned. They never, ever earned it. This is a bummer, man. It's a Monday. Usually on Monday, I have like 600 or 1,000 people watching the show, and I have 225 right now. Yeah. So the ANC is simply whistling past the cemetery, and it's getting worse. The rhetoric from Ramaphosa, here's some of the idiotic stuff he said over the weekend. Those who believe that might is right should be aware that their approach and policy are not acceptable to us in the rest of the global South, because we believe in equity, multilateralism, and collaboration. rather than suppressing weaker nations. No, actually, you believe in suppressing weaker nations. You absolutely believe in suppressing weaker nations because, of course, your dear friends in Beijing have invaded, conquered, occupied, and annexed Tibet in 1950s illegally. It's not part of China. Now, my channel has nothing to do with notifications, Pizza Party. It has to do with YouTube. YouTube is not sending notifications. It's called shadow banning, hiding my content, because they can't handle the truth. See, this isn't some dude sitting around with no experience, a 22-year-old eating Cheetos on his couch, laughing and making fun of things and not having any life experience, not having done anything. No, that's not me. Yep. So China. So they're friends with China. They're part of the Global South. And China, also part of BRICS, has illegally occupied Tibet. And so, of course, the ANC not only is okay with that, they've actively endorsed this theft. They've actually endorsed the theft of Tibet. And how do I know that? Well, because when the Dalai Lama, the spiritual and political leader of Tibet, who has had to live his life in exile since the age of 5, tried to come to South Africa for a counter-racism conference hosted by the United Nations, the ANC, under pressure from their masters in Beijing, refused him a visa. Then, I don't know what's going on in East London, Carl. And then they also denied him a visa once again when he tried to go to the 80th birthday party for his dear friend, the Archbishop Desmond Tutu. And so they wouldn't let him in the country for Bishop Tutu's birthday party. So they clearly don't believe in equity. They don't believe in collaboration and multilateralism. They believe in what basically Thucydides talked about a few thousand years ago, might makes right. In the Malayan dialogue, Thucydides, one of the most brilliant pieces, the actual first original historian who recorded history in a written form for posterity, Thucydides talked about the Malayan dialogue when the small island of Malaya off the coast of what is today Turkey was attacked, invaded, and conquered by Athens. And what happened was that the Malayans they were pleading with the Athenians. They said, we're not your enemies. We trade with you. We've never caused any problems. Why would you come here and do this? Well, the Athenian general said to the Malayan delegates, the strong will do what they want and the weak will suffer what they must. And that's exactly what South Africa believes in, despite the rhetoric to the contrary. They believe in power politics. They believe in right of power, and they think they're the powerful actor, but South Africa is not the powerful actor. The ANC is not the powerful actor. I mean, your military couldn't defeat a Boy Scout troop. It's embarrassing. Your soldiers ran away when rebels shot at them in the Congo. They had no fire discipline, shooting wildly and all over the place. They had no combat support, no attack helicopters, insufficient artillery, no ammunition, no tents, no body armor, not getting their combat pay, hazard pay, as well as no medevac capability. This is your military. You have all these Gripen fighters and only one is operational, or two are operational, last time I checked, and only one qualified pilot to fly them. So the ANC has delusions of grandeur. They think they're a powerful country and a powerful nation. They don't know what power is. Who's destroying parked cars and shops? Who's doing that, Henry? Oh, in East London. Is this the taxi association? Or who is it, EFF? I mean, who's doing that? I haven't heard about that. It wasn't reported in the news this morning, at least my morning time. So Ramaphosa, the ANC, and no notification from YouTube. Yeah, I'm not surprised, William. And my mods probably didn't put it out. If my mods don't put it out in the groups, then we probably get a smaller audience. Yeah, where's East London? Funny, Martin. Love this community, always honest and truthful. Thank you for that, Paul Duncan. Appreciate you being a member. Yeah, so he definitely believes in power politics and might makes right, as Thucydides told us. In addition to that, there are other friends in BRICS, part of the Global South, although they're physically in the geographic north. The Global South is Russia. The Russian oligarchs, Russia invaded Ukraine, and the ANC supported that invasion. They claim they were neutral, but they didn't vote to sanction Russia or condemn Russia's illegal invasion. And they've done nothing to stop it. Nothing to stop it. And they collaborate with the Russians. They send South Africans to be mercenaries to kill Ukrainians. So the ANC, despite its rhetoric, believes very much in power politics, believes very much in might makes right. They are very much in line with what Thucydides told us in the Malayan dialogue. They can lie all they want about suppressing weaker states, but South Africa, and he talks about imperialism, imperialist aggression. Well, the imperialist aggression is South Africa. What do you mean? He said the illegal war waged by the U.S. and Israel is an act of imperialist aggression that has placed the global economy and international security at great risk. Well, the problem with that is that when you look up imperialism, imperialism comes from empire. We can argue whether America's an empire or not. I would say it's not, but fine, you can make a legitimate argument to the contrary, which is plausible, but I'll disagree with it. That's your prerogative. But the bottom line here is that imperialism is not simply power politics. It's power politics exercised through political, military, and or economic domination. Well, what does South Africa do despite an anemic economy? It dominates SADC and SACU. It dictates terms, interest rates, and currency through its economy, through its neighbors. Economies in Southern Africa are wholly dependent on what happens in South Africa. Eswatini, Lesotho, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Mozambique, all subject to the vacillations and stupid policies of ANC in South Africa. That is imperialism, economic domination. They dominate their neighbors. That is imperialism. Not to mention South Africa's adventurism abroad, multiple times invading Comoros, multiple times invading Lesotho. This is under the ANC, not the National Party. The National Party invaded, Angola and Mozambique, and did raids with special forces in other places like Tanzania, and did raids into Botswana. But the ANC has been on adventurism in Eritrea, in the Central African Republic, which ended badly and embarrassingly for them, in Burundi, in Somalia, in the Congo for decades, in Ivory Coast. They've stuck their nose in everywhere and screwed up everything, every place. Show me one country where the ANC has had a positive impact in negotiating peace in Africa, please. And don't say Cote d'Ivoire, because Mandela screwed that up. He pissed off the Ivorians, both sides, by sticking his nose in there because he had no idea what he's doing. So please show me one country in Africa where the ANC's desire and its role for peaceful action has played a positive role. Eritrea, no, they're just UN observers. They didn't do anything there. Zero, not one. Yet they present themselves as the moral vanguard of humanity. They're not. If they were the moral vanguard of humanity, there would be no Vreda dairy farm scandal, no asbestos tender scandal, no Oilgate, Travelgate, and Conla. There would be no arms deal scandal. There would be no Julius Malema running around calling for the murder of people based on their race. A vile, repulsive, anti-human, disgusting piece of sludge that gentleman is. Yes. So, they present themselves as something that they're completely not. They're masquerading. They're not even a party of liberation. The African National Congress did not liberate South Africa. At the end of the Cold War, which was forced by Reagan spending the Russians, the Soviets, into oblivion and forcing them to capitulate, that's what ended the Cold War. Not the National Party, no, not the ANC. And the ANC did not come to power because they played a role in liberation. They came to power because the crooked, corrupt collusion between the parties involved, the Pan-African Congress, the ANC, and the National Party, amongst others, at the CODESA Summit. And who was at the CODESA Summit? None other than Cyril Ramaphosa. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Corrupt. People went crazy. He's led to stoning foreigner shops and stabbing a foreign man. Well, xenophobia is horrible in South Africa. Racism and xenophobia are rampant in South Africa. Yet South Africans, leftists deign to attack America for the very things that South Africa is responsible for. It's pretty sad. It's raining, Vinto. Which teams are playing tonight at the hockey, Colonel? Someone's knocking at my door. I think it's housekeeping. I'll be right back. All right, it was housekeeping, so I gave them my bag of rubbish to take away. That's all I had for them. Don't need any fresh sheets, so anyway, so that's taken care of. Rita, you're a bit late. I don't know about that. Are any of my mods spreading on the WhatsApp groups and Telegram or whatever, wherever you spread stuff? I don't see Hendo here. That's probably why we have a low attendance, because the mods didn't put it out. Not their fault, but I'm just asking. Anyway, imperialist aggression, that's the ANC. Funny to hear them talk about it. USA is playing against a silent war. What silent war are you talking about? No, liberation movements almost never succeed. Yep, that East London thing's pretty crazy. Okay. Posting about the situation in the near future. Hi from Iowa says Becoming Dragon. Whereabouts in Iowa? I used to live in Ames. I taught at Iowa State University for a couple of years. Hendo did send it out, so I'm surprised so few people are here. If Hendo sends it out, we usually get a lot. Wow, it says it's upcoming. It doesn't say it's already started. See, there's another form of shadow ban. I don't know where Keokuk is. I never heard of that. Oh, the hockey teams. Well, Vegas. I'm in Las Vegas, of course. I watch the Vegas Golden Knights. They're playing the Vancouver Canucks. So that's tonight. Oh, Chris also posted. Thank you, Chris. Scary part is that there will be a future of this country, total destruction. Well, it's headed that way. Yeah, mob mentality and xenophobia in South Africa are pretty frightening. Pretty frightening. Doesn't take much from mobbing in action. Yep. Came look, there's anything from you. First watch other video, then later saw the upcoming. Click that. Okay, thank you, Sigi, for being here. 17 March from South Africa, Becoming Dragon. Would you like to do an interview with Becoming Dragon? I'll be back home and I'll be able to doing interviews again soon. 3 of the burning vehicles are taxis. Not a surprise. Tries to southeast Iowa and Mississippi. Oh, okay. Our posts on the refugee groups. Okay, cool. Well, thanks for posting. Yeah, so thankfully I probably only have 200 plus because Hendo and Chris want to pull the posts. Otherwise, we probably have about 40 people here. Yeah, no, it's just evil. I think maybe YouTube has caught on that I'm here and they're harassing me again. What happens is when I travel abroad, when I first get abroad, I tend to have some good audiences initially for a couple days or something like that. And then it just all goes sideways because these turds. Yeah. Yeah, well, terrorism be... I'm not going to get that in there, so... Is that right? Yeah, I think it's right. Somehow, I put a link in there. I don't know how I found that. That's weird. Maybe the AI is getting smarter with YouTube. Okay. Huh. And when I call... Come on. What's this being difficult for? Let me give this thing I need to create a thumbnail. So let me... Okay, so we'll say... South Africa's MTN... Huh. Okay. Let's see if it makes myself and get a good thumbnail out of that. I'll try. So sorry about that. They were very loud in the hallway out there. It's kind of distracting me. The cleaning crew. They're doing the rooms pretty quickly now. So MTN, Iran, sell. Okay, what else? Right, that'll cover it. Excuse me, guys. Fix a couple things here. Okay. It is currently South Africa, 9 hours difference, 11 be 7 p.m., right? 6, 7, 8. No, it's 8 p.m. there. Is that right? Yeah, it's almost 8 p.m. there. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I use that one. Looks pretty good. You're leaving, Erica. What's going on? Sorry to see you go. Who's looking at the portal? And why is everybody talking about refugee stuff in my news broadcast? I mean, how many times I got to tell people not to do that? And they just continue to do it. They just continue to do it. And you wonder why I get frustrated at times. Anyway. Yep. All right, so I'll give this another hour. Schedule this. Today. We'll say 12. Be 9 p.m. there, so we'll get a few views. That's premiere. Okay, cool. All right, so that's set up now. The one I already did. That's MTN's Iran scandal. We'll see what happens there. People are tired of having foreigners hired in South African citizens sit with unemployment. Well, I think people are more tired of being denied employment opportunities or educational opportunities because of their skin color. I think that's probably a bigger concern. But yes, that doesn't give them the right to attack people and murder them or burn their properties. This is Home Affairs' fault for letting these people in the country and not deporting them. You know, isn't it funny how all these foreigners run spazas and tuck shops illegally or in the country, millions of illegals, yet the ANC on Geloftedag, on Unity Day, on the 16th of December, finds a bunch of Home Affairs officers who barely fit their uniforms, operational trucks, and brings like 60 Home Affairs guys dressed in uniform to intimidate refugees and invade a lawful diplomatic protected site. Then they illegally detain U.S. officials, and then they illegally expose and dox one of those officials. And there's been no repercussions for the criminal conduct of the African National Congress Department of Home Affairs. And who controls Home Affairs? Would that be Leon Schreiber from the ANC Light? I mean the DA, the ANC Light. Yep. Yep. There's no King's protests. 8 million people they claim took part in 3,100 protests around the country. That means 342 million Americans didn't pay any attention because it's the all morons protest, not the No Kings. Get too much money from them, Colonel. They literally arrest the foreigners, then get 5,000 bribe to let them go. Oh, you're talking about the cops, yeah. MTN case has more to do with the link between the ANC and Iran as Iran sells. But yes, that's correct, Karen Yonsef von Lensborg. And in a little over an hour, that will premiere. You'll be able to watch that. Still with MTN, and unfortunately, still need to change. Kati Fundaban says, any luck with the one-arm bandits? I don't gamble, Kati. I haven't even touched one of those things. I never do. I didn't even participate in the 50-50. I was going to do the 50-50 at the Vegas game, but it was only 16,000. I'm like, yeah. When it was 48,000, it's worth doing it. Yep. I don't know who recently landed in Texas. Lots of people are landing all the time. I can't wait for the 5th. I'm not in a hurry to get there, but the 5th of April, I'm looking forward to the statistics. Even though 9 days in March won't even be covered, there were no flights. We have another 22 days where people did fly, potentially. So the numbers will definitely be over 4,000, probably approaching 5,000 now. West Coast Bees says, I want to thank you for everything you do daily to help us, for your time, energy to bring us the truth, the facts. Hope to get to meet you face. Well, hopefully I get to meet you as well. Can you please explain the No Kings movement in the U.S.? Someone I know in the USA did a protest this weekend. Someone you know in the USA went to the protests in Minnesota. Well, I'll say that whoever you know is a moron. The No Kings protest is something that started within days of Trump taking office last year. Trump had taken virtually no action whatsoever, yet these demonically possessed Trump derangement syndrome afflicted morons started having protests saying no kings, he's not a king. Well, that's because the Democrats, just like the fake affordability crisis, there was an affordability crisis in this country when Biden was president. Everything doubled in price, despite the government lies about the inflation rate. Same thing here. This is coming from the likes of Nancy Pelosi, who spent 40 years in Congress. Chucky Schumer's been there for 36 years. Mitch McConnell has been there for 40 years. Susan Collins and all the Democrats who've been in office forever, they have the audacity to say that the president, who's term limited and is only in his 5th year of a presidency and a second after break, is a king, because they don't like the fact that he follows the law and uses executive order as he's allowed to do. So they're just morons looking for trouble. They have fewer brain cells than an amoeba. So I don't know who your person is. It's a friend or family member, and I don't know anything about them. But if they went to one of these protests, they're dumber than a box of fucking rocks. They're stupid. And you can tell them I said that. I don't even know who they are. They're dumb. They're dumb. They're stupid people. These are people who are governed by their emotions and have absolutely no concept of rational thinking, no critical thinking skills, no analysis. Now, before someone accuses me of being in the bag with MAGA and with Trump, I criticize President Trump when it's appropriate all the time, and I call out his shortcomings. For instance, threatening to destroy the oil facilities on Carg Island is a dumb idea. It's not helpful. He's not going to do that. If he does that, it's going to be devastating to the globe, and that is definitely going to hurt him. So he's not going to do that. So God's girl, I don't know who the person is, but I'm saying they're dumb. And if they're offended, too bad for them. Bye, Erica. Okay. Trying to call government department today. Number from official page listed. Number you dial does not exist. Yeah, not a surprise. I don't know anything what's going on with the DA salary debacle. I know nothing about that. That's Ronaldo's thing. Let him deal with that. And Juanita Parkin says the truth now is more valuable than currency. Thank heavens for Colonel Chris. Well, thank you very much for that. Please tell more people. Give them this channel. Someone already talked that they were offered 200 to join the protest. Well, we know about that, Keith. There are professional protests on the Common Sense Conservatives. We interviewed one of these guys. He was a former college student who started a business that simply drums up protesters. They pay them. They have no shame. They say it's what they do. It's all fake. The protests are all bullshit. During the No King's protesters say someone paid a banner plane to fly overhead with banner saying "No King, he's your daddy." Oh, I didn't see that. That's hilarious. He's your daddy. Chatted with Gemini the other day and called her Siri. The response was funny. Paul Stapleberg, what's up? What I've seen and read, the protests are bad news. No, they're just annoying. It's not aware what the best other immoral cellular provider here is in South Africa. Oh, I don't know there are any moral and good providers anywhere in the world. Any thoughts on what we mean from MTN as a business with well, it would mean that if in fact the judgment goes against them, that there'll be a massive financial settlement that MTN and Irancell will be responsible for paying to compensate the victims of Iran's terror. Yeah, we could be talking tens of billions of dollars potentially in these 5 lawsuits. If this is applied and if MTN is forced to pay it, it would end MTN as an entity. They would have to file bankruptcy. But the South African government will simply oppose it and call it racist. Well, the racism was the murder of Americans by a bunch of theocrats who did it because they were white and Christian. Complaining in the name of others, the Iranian people had a counter-protest opposite No Kings in D.C., which they would... Yeah, that's pretty good. Thanks, Phoenix. I didn't know about that. Yeah, Robert De Niro flubbed his lines. Robert De Niro is a moronic, whiny, crybaby, pissant little bitch who would get his ass kicked by anybody, threatens Trump all the time in the fight. But, you know, we could get an 18-year-old girl who knows a little bit of judo and they kick that sorry waste of human sludge ass. Robert De Niro is the dumbest moron in Hollywood, and that's saying something. He is stupid beyond belief. He has no concept of reality. You know, he was a good actor and he should have kept his cake hole shut because that's all he does well. Helen Zilla snorkeled in the pipe burst hole in the roof. What? I didn't see that, Gary. Yeah, Robert De Niro has an IQ of 10. Exactly right. No, I stopped watching his movies too because he's a moron. He's just an asshat. Seems you'll need to search for my messages on WhatsApp having seen your inbox problem. The honor of meeting the Colonel last year at Vibes and Drives was awesome. Hey, Utopi, how's it going? Vibes and Drives, where was that at? No, that was at I was in Centurion, wasn't it? At the golf thing. That's the one where the scam artist Vandemeva came and took a picture with me, and then he tried to go online and say, "Oh, I went to the meet and greet, and the Colonel wasn't impressive." And this was after the first refugees touchdown. A few days later, he's like, "Well, we don't know what happened. We still have the list, and we're going to get people over. So send us more money, and we'll make sure you get over there." But I went to this so-called Colonel's meet and greet, and I wasn't impressed. Remember that? Remember that asswipe? Yeah. By the way, I don't know what happened to him, but he disappeared. He's probably in hiding because the FBI is looking for him. The verdict against Meta is ridiculous. Against Facebook and against YouTube and Twitter, it's absolutely ridiculous. Blaming someone for your afflictions, you know, that presupposes that people have no free will. You know, we might as well be, you know, playthings in somebody's artificial intelligence game that they're playing, you know. But as Leonard said on The Big Bang Theory, so you mean some kid paid extra so I get the asthma inhaler and eyeglasses? Yeah. No, this verdict against the social media companies is utter nonsense. Now, I wasn't in the trial, so maybe they produced something that showed that they intentionally used some sort of algorithm or method to hook people. But quite frankly, a young adult who can't make decisions for themselves really shouldn't have a phone. And that's not their fault. That's the young adult's fault. That's what I think about that, Mark Myberg. I think people have their own free will and do things of their own volition. And blaming others for their shortcomings is pathetic. Oh yeah, Pringles is much cheaper here because I don't think in South Africa it's made there. I think it's shipped from here if I'm not mistaken. So I guess the Jamie Lee Curtis now also the king. She's an idiot too. Jamie Lee Curtis is another moron. Nobody watches her anymore. She's annoying. She's arrogant. She's an asset. What's your analysis? What's going on happen in the midterms? Dave, it's too early to say. That's my analysis. Too early to say. The Democrats are winning their propaganda war with the fake argument about affordability and whining about Iran because they would rather see Iran have nuclear weapons and attack Israel and irradiate the entire Middle East, killing 6 million people. And then they go, "Oh, what do we do now? It's Trump's fault. He didn't do anything." See, they're just asshats. So right now, the Democrats are winning the propaganda war. But a lot can happen between now and November. An awful lot can happen. Number one, the conflict ends, the price of fuel drops back down, although it won't go down much because we're moving into summer months where it stays higher. But it will go down a little bit. And, Trump could end other conflicts. The trade deals are working out. And so, here's the other thing. If the Trump administration is successful pointing out to people like here in Las Vegas who work in the service industry, and those in manufacturing who get paid by the hourly wage, and you found out that, well, look, instead of $18 an hour, I'm getting 27 and paying no taxes. So after taxes on $18 is more like $14, which means in effect, every overtime hour I work, I'm basically getting twice as much money. How cool is that? And we can thank Donald Trump for that. And if you get tips and you're in service industry, you get tips, none of that's taxable. So that's just gravy. Yeah. Oil shortages have delayed flights. Yes, in South Africa, most likely that's going to happen. Yep. Jamie Lee Curtis, Robert De Niro, and Rosie O'Donnell. Yeah, Rosie O'Donnell can keep her lard ass in Ireland. Nobody gives a crap about her. She's not entertaining. She's just an asshat. She's been rude and disrespectful. And she's an embarrassment to lesbians. I mean, if I was a lesbian, I would never claim her. Blaming no kings. East London was really bad today. Yeah, I'm going to have to look into that. Well, I met refugees from East London yesterday, right here in Las Vegas. The actors, yes, there are. Kelsey Grammer, Patricia Heaton, Clint Eastwood. There's a surprisingly large number of actors with common sense, but most of them don't say anything because they'll be blacklisted. James Woods has a famous career in television, in Hollywood, in movies. Mel Gibson's another one. And James Woods was blackballed when he started telling the truth about leftists. And so they even took his Twitter account away from him a while. But he's never says anything outlandish or crazy, just tells the truth. There's a lot of conservatives. Hollywood used to be a very conservative place. Mark Wahlberg is another example of a conservative. Thank you, Charles, for pointing that out. Yep. Oh, my connection died over here again. This freaking network is ridiculous. It says no internet, so let me disconnect and connect again. Make my day. Schwarzenegger? No, Schwarzenegger is not really conservative. He's a rhino Republican. Apparently, hackers got into leftists are pissed because he's just a normal guy. Oh, well, they were hoping to find something dirty on him. Some kid paid for the Sydney. What's that? For the Sydney Sweeney upgrade package. I could see that. Yeah, yeah. That would be cool, wouldn't it? Yeah, that would be cool. Still saying I have no internet. Oh my goodness. But now I'm getting messages again. This freaking internet connection here is bad. Hey, Arctic, what's going on, man? I've been talking about you a lot lately. I met a pilot, Clint Eastwood. Well, I've never had bad problems with hotel Wi-Fi for probably 20 years, except in South Africa, not in the U.S. This is unusual. Unusual. Frauds only scratch the surface. The likes of Nick Shirley, I believe billions will be. Oh, Nick Shirley's got nothing, nicey. Nick Shirley's got nothing on me, and because of this shadow banning, nothing's coming of it. I've uncovered more fraud than Nick Shirley. Oh yeah, potentially. He's talked about $18 billion. Well, he said a few $billion. The government said $18 billion. Minnesota is finding more, but Nick Shirley didn't find it. He didn't do the work. Some old guy in Minneapolis did the work, and he just swooped in and got all the credit. Same thing in California. That lady out there did all the work, and he swooped in and got all the credit. She's not getting likes and views. He's getting millions of dollars in ad revenue and people supporting his channel, and that's fine. But I've uncovered something even bigger here. When I went to Rochester, it became quite clear that for decades, we've probably been funding these refugee agencies who've been stealing money from refugees and not providing services. And that, in effect, is theft. And I've seen it over and over again now. I just got a call from a woman this morning, unsolicited, about how she's being cashiered out by the agency after just a month. She got a job, but she only works 20 hours. She can't afford a rent. And I got other people being turfed out because the agencies have told them we're done helping you. But that's not how it's supposed to work. So I've uncovered if you figure that in 2024 there was $8.9 billion spent on refugees, 2.9 billion in direct assistance to refugees, and the rest went to the refugee agencies. Now, if those refugee agencies, even at the rate of say 5 or 10%, let's say 10%, okay, 10%. So 8.9 billion minus 2.9 billion means they got $7 billion. So of the $7 billion, if only 10% was people not providing services or mistreating refugees, that means that $700 million in FY 2024 was stolen through fraud. Just an estimate. So that's 1 year. Now that rate was probably the same going back several years, but let's just say it's $500 million a year. 10 years is $5 billion. Okay? Now this is a conservative estimate. It could be much worse than this. So this has been going on for 40 years. So we're talking, billions of dollars here and affecting far more people than the Laring Center. Yep. Now the scale and dollar amount from Laring Center could be much higher, but the people affected is much lower. And also that all just happened in the last decade in Minnesota. This has been going on for 40 years. The more you dig, the worse it will be, especially in organizations generally left-leaning. Yeah. But of course, all this is being hidden. In the meantime, CBS News is lying, claiming that, well, because of the Free Press report by Madeline Rowley, the U.S. government now is investigating and altering the way that it handles refugee cases. Bullshit. That's not why they're doing it. They're doing it because the Trump administration took over the program. They suspended it because of fraud suspected. They investigated, they found fraud in it, and they began reforming the program months ago, long before Madeline Rowley wrote her article, long before they heard of anyone like me or anybody else or Shelley Hepburn. They began doing it themselves. I know this because they told me this themselves. And nothing was off the record. Nothing was for background. Everything I was allowed to speak about. And Angie Salazar and her deputy told me very clearly that they began this months ago. And when she came on board in September, they ramped it up. And as of January, they put mechanisms in place. And not because of the article. Her article came out after these mechanisms in place. Also, the information that Madeline Rowley shared on the updated interview with that troll from CBS, that black guy, she said 11 or 700 people or 800 people have been contacted. That's nonsense. I had spoken to them. It was already 1,200 South Africans who'd been contacted. Would be virtually every case that came over. Because remember, cases have 2, 3, 4 or more people on each case. So when you contact 1,200 people about what's happened to them since they arrived, you're probably talking about 3 to 4 times that. So probably almost everybody had been contacted, and that is not something CBS News. And CBS took credit for it. They're lying sacks of horse manure. They took credit for this. They deserve some credit, but not for the things they claim. They deserve credit for being a mainstream media outlet that ran this story and then covered it up. Yeah. So this is terrible what's going on here. And I've uncovered this stuff. And why? Because South Africans came over. Martin, thank you for the 70 Rand. You're waiting patiently. I understand that. It will be corruption if AI is already corrupt. A lot of times I put something into Gemini to make an image. Oh, I can't do that. That's kind of sensitive. I can't make an image with political figures. But then another time I say, put Ramaphosa on there, and it does just fine. Like the image I did of Ramaphosa poking the bear, it let me do that. But other stuff, it doesn't. It's already corrupt. AI is corrupt the moment it was put online. That is big new, Colonel, and you've been informing them and telling everyone. Yeah, there's investigations going on. In fact, there's investigations going on in the cases that I'm sharing with them right now. Stream earlier where they compare leftists to demons and how I don't know, maybe they are, maybe they're not. Apparently the Iranians were caught tampering and damaging underwater fiber cables. That doesn't surprise me. Delia's tired of all the lies. I think a lot of people are, and that's why I'm tired of the shadow banning. This is nonsense. What is YouTube so afraid of? Why do they hide my content? Let people make a decision for themselves. Sadly, in Israel, this has become a tool for fraud. Yeah, it is, and it will be a tool for fraud. Actually, I want to put it up, but I don't know how to sync Chris' songs with his moves. I'm not sure what Vodka Model's talking about there. Too much for rational mind. AI ain't Lecca. I should make an AI song. I don't have my pen here. I should make an AI song. You get mass report on X also. Truth is offensive. Yeah, it is. Well, X is just an evil platform too. Don't buy the whole nonsense about Elon Musk. Elon Musk does nothing to help people who need there. He promotes people that he likes or promote people that fall into his orbit, but nobody else. I mean, when my channel was hijacked by the South African State Security Agency, when they falsely logged into my account, stole my password, and then changed it to second factor authentication, I couldn't get in. And I got no help from the people who supposedly know him personally, including a couple South Africans. I got no help whatsoever. And in fact, the people who said they were helping me have ghosted me. I haven't heard from them now in weeks. So anyway, you're looking for me alive and it wasn't there. Yep. X has become a very toxic place. It's always been a very toxic place, Cutman's Curse, but it was toxic and directed against conservatives. Now the toxicity goes both ways. Yep, both ways. It goes both ways, folks. It is terrible. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. There's 216 likes, so somebody's not doing their job. How about we hit that like button? Make that happen, folks. Make that happen. But unfortunately for y'all, I have got to run to meet with the refugee agency and find out what they're doing. Yes, YouTube serves their masters. Your content doesn't serve their narrative. Yep. I am way too truthful. Yep. So I've got a video premiering at the top of the hour. You're welcome to see that in about 41 minutes about will terrorism lawsuits at MTN be a problem. Yep. So the petrol price surging, that one's not doing very well. That's been up for a few hours, only has 1,300 views. Thank you, Sharon Goslin, for the 35 Rand. That other one has 27,000 views now. So, yep. Who is Tim Burchett? Somebody says Tim Burchett. Anyway, and we are slowly climbing, Mount Sinai here. It's a hell of a climb to get to 125,000. But I'll give you one last look out here during the daytime, because tomorrow I probably won't have time for that, at the Vegas Strip. You can see the Eiffel Tower over there. Planet Hollywood is to the right. You've got the Flamingo over there. Then there's the Guitar Hotel, which is going up, Bellagio, Caesar's Palace. So Hilton off in the distance. And behind the Guitar, you can see the edge there. That golden building is the Trump Tower. So there you go. I hope that was helpful from last gander there at the Strip here before I head out. Yeah, it's a hell of a view. This is a great view, and I got a good price and saved a lot of money. I mean, I saved minimum $40 a day for parking. So I went in Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and I would pay tomorrow. So at $40 times 5 days, that was at least $200 I saved there. Yep. You're welcome for the view. It's also the beginning when I start this broadcast. You can go back and watch it when you listen to Cyril's Big Blunder. Yep. Anyway, folks, I'm sorry, but I do need to dodge. So be sure to hit the like button. We're still at 259, much smaller audience than we usually get on a Monday, which is a little disappointing, but such is life. And I'll catch you guys later. Let other people know about the channel, please, and get them to come join us. All right? You guys take care. God bless, and we'll see you later on.